was there. I don't have to listen to it.
This week's show because it was a disaster.
When you live in a beach resort, it's easy to forget whether you are playing or working. On each week's show, we settle in with a cocktail and try to figure out if there is a difference. This is Day Drinking on Delmarva.
You have to say your part now. All right.
I am Todd from GoodCleanFunLife.com. I did not hear the intro.
Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe it didn't get recorded. Who knows? I am so bad at this.
That's all right.
And I had Tony Russo, no relation. And I barely know what I'm doing apparently on this.
I did see your like I started with my line and then I could tell it was still going like your facial cues and then I was trying to time it with your head bopping along.
Oh, I see. To see when I stopped bobbing my head, then the thank you. Then the music was over. Yeah, I'm sorry. There's nothing that can be done about that. We will not fix it in post because we talked about it in pre.
Yeah, why not?
Lots of fun stuff coming up this week. I've got an adventure brewing in my mind that I'm going to talk about if we get to it. But before we get to that, did I say I'm Tony Russo? I'm Tony Russo. I live here because I can't drink, and Todd drinks because he can't live here. Todd drinks because he gets to live here. I drink because I have to live here. And I was actually telling Kelly the other day, my wife, that we were both doing the same thing as we were having damp January, right? Are you still on damp January, or how's your damp January?
No, still on damp January. We're today, 2 days a week, easy peasy. Shouldn't be too hard.
3 days a week for me. Friday. So which isn't a weekend day for you? Is Friday not a weekend, or is Sunday not a weekend?
Sunday's pretty much not a weekend because I'm usually working. So.
Oh, all right. Well, that's And I have such it's crazy for a person who's not left his house to go to work for going on 9 years.
Yeah.
I have a nervous breakdown every Sunday night. Mondays don't matter to me, right? Mondays don't matter at all. Mondays could be any day of the week. They happen to be the first day of many people's weeks. They're not the first day of my week, but I cannot sleep on Sunday night. It has a lot to do with my current job, because there's always a meeting on Monday, and I'm like, maybe I'll wake up dead, and then I won't have to go.
One can hope.
But I didn't wake up dead, so I have a meeting in a little while, which is unpleasant as it is. But before we get to all of our fun stories, we're going to do a commercial, and the commercials are always sponsored by a local business that we like. In this case, it is me. I have a newsletter, probably you know about it. It's called Destination Delmarva, and my plan was, as we've talked about 1,000 times on this show, to start it in January. And when I started it in January, I made a phone call to one of my former interns. So there's this young person named Kristen Helf, and she had co-written a book called like Funky Ocean City or Weird Ocean City. It's one of those, one of those things to do in Ocean City kind of books. I'm like, oh, I never knew she wrote a book. I would love to talk to her about that. So I reached out through the film festival website, and the Ocean City Film Festival is where Kristen worked for a time, as far as I knew. And I got a reply from her partner, BL, who said, and we just chatted for a little. BL also worked as an intern there when I was at oceancity.com. And he said it's the 10th year of the film festival, and my head almost came off because it seems like a long time ago. And it's a thing now. Like it's I'm such a negative Nelly. I don't know if you've heard, but I remember when they were like, we're going to have a film festival. I'm like, who in the world would come to Ocean City for a film festival?
Or even submit.
And the first year they had like 700 submissions.
Yeah.
But the first year they learned that there's a cost for submissions. Otherwise you get 700 submissions.
Right.
But the second year they had like 200 submissions or 300 submissions. And this year they had about 300 submissions, and it gets bigger and better every year. And so this is their 10th anniversary. When BL mentioned that, I decided to put the Destination Delmarva project on hold so that I could do a long form podcast about the Ocean City Film Festival. So 10-year retrospective. That is up now. I'm sorry, that is up now. I finished all my interviews for it, and I will have that out in probably 3 weeks, in early February. Hopefully the first week in February, possibly the second week in February, maybe the last week in January. That's not the point. The point is you should go to Destination Delmarva, where there's other stuff, and you can sign up for the newsletter, and then you'll be notified when this comes out. And I got so many good stories, and I want to tell you my favorite story. Oh, did I already tell you about the posters? Did we already talk about the posters?
We talked about the posters
on the show.
They're all done by one artist. Yeah.
Oh, did I tell you that somebody asked him to sign them all?
Oh yeah, I think you did mention.
I think
that.
I did. All right,
which
so
is
I'm
super cool.
For the other fun story that I got to tell. I talked to a guy. His name was Marlon Wallace, and he made and his movie is on, I think, Prime, but also on YouTube, and it's called Pier, and it is a love story about two black kids in Ocean City in the summertime, which is, he's like, no one would ever, make that movie, so I made it. And so I haven't gotten to see it yet, but increasingly these movies are doing well. Like his movie got distribution, and it was on like television. I think it's coming on in March. I think it's going to be on like a regular like a television streamer that you can see it on.
Yeah. And it's called Pier, like the Ocean City Pier.
No,
like...
ha PEER. Because
okay.
it's and that's part of it. And
yeah.
The description, talking to him about it, was great. But more than talking to him about it being great, and I don't want to make you miserable, but I'm going to make you a little bit miserable. Did you know that they have a summer challenge? Do you know the Ocean City Film Festival Summer Challenge?
I think that I am aware of that.
Yeah, you should do it.
I know. And you know what? It's always this time of year when the film festival is coming up, and I don't have like a lot of events and that sort of thing. And I always think about it, and then before you know it, it's March, and then we're off to the races.
Yeah. So if you think of it, you should do it. You could do a beach retrospective. You could do a voiceover for footage you've already shot.
Yeah.
But one of the things that we talk about, one of the themes, if I can do a spoiler, about my own podcast, one of the primary themes is like the importance of local filmmakers being able to show their films, and the importance of short films. And this film festival has gotten, I don't want to say prestigious enough, but I'm going to say prestigious enough that like being in it is a thing now.
Yeah.
Like people who are in it, they're like, oh, you were in that one. Like you can be in ours, that kind of thing, like when you run the Ocean City Half Marathon, you can qualify for the Boston Marathon or whatever. Right. And, speaking with, BL Strang Moya, for those of you who don't know him, and that would be many of you, I think. He's really committed, and everybody I've spoken to is really committed to keeping it small. The opportunity to grow is there. Like the opportunity to get, huge films is not huge films, but large films is there. This year they're going to be showing Patton Oswalt's new movie. Yeah. Because he's going to be there doing stand-up and a Q&A after the movie Death Stalker, which is a remake, and it looks. If you'd like to, you can see the trailer online, and it looks appropriately cheesy. It looks like an early '80s sword and sorcery movie. Which is what they were going for. But everyone is committed to making sure that there are Maryland people who get to show their films, and that they show short films for several reasons. One, there aren't a lot of film festivals, and if you only have 2 hours to spend watching independent films, why not see 8 instead of 1?
Right.
But the other thing is it makes it affordable. It's people who want to make short films can make them, and it's affordable. So and also like short stories. Like some stories don't need 2.5 hours to be told. Some stories don't take place in the MCU, you know. And for all of those reasons, these guys are really committed to like keeping the independent spirit of the film festival like a central theme.
Yeah.
That said, like they were telling me, another story I heard is someone flew from Spain to premiere their movie here. They had a feature that was showing, that was accepted at the Ocean City Film Festival, and they came over to do a Q&A all the way from Spain, and you know, and that's not uncommon. Like foreign filmmakers come here to show their films, and they get accepted, and so it's really. I didn't realize what a big deal it was, and it's a big deal.
If you are on that path to be a filmmaker, like, you know, in some respect, in some cases, I feel like you almost have to, not that it's scattershot, but you try to get in as many film festivals as you can, and one that's been around for 10 years. And like you said, it's going to build a little bit of prestige and a little bit of, you know, gravitas, I guess, you know, like, and that becomes a jumping stone for something else, and or, you know, critique that you take back in your next thing. And you're not, like, I mean, it's definitely a you know, for anybody to be able to get into a film festival is a great thing.
And the other thing, and this is what made me think of you and the Summer Challenge, is that everyone seems to be talking about like the getting together with the other filmmakers is huge if you're not, if you don't live in a place where 6 out of 10 people you meet are filmmakers. You know, it's not easy. You can only talk shop for so long before people's eyes start to glaze over.
Right.
You know, but so they're very excited. People who don't usually get to talk about the process of making a movie get to talk to people who've made movies about the process of making a movie, and hanging out in that club. Just it's satisfying, and I think that's the other reason that this is a big deal. So anyway, I'm looking forward to sharing everything that I've learned with everyone. But more important, you should go to this festival if you can. I'm not going, but you should go.
You know, it's fun too because we are a sponsor, in that we do the website. And we have, in fact, I need to double check. We normally have a commercial that we're able to do that plays before, you know, when they are, you know, talking about a certain level of sponsor, they, you know, they'll play a little commercial. And when we did it a couple years ago, I definitely had a couple people that I necessarily would not have expected come up to me and be like, "Oh, I really liked your commercial," because it stood out from all of the others that were, you know, just more corporate sponsors with their logo and cheesy animation or something like that. We did something with a little bit more pizzazz. But yeah, it's a cool event, and one I know that we are pretty proud to be a part of. And I should do something with the with all of the stuff that I have.
Yeah, especially for the Summer Challenge. I think you could do very well at the Summer Challenge for all of the, you know, all the for all the footage you have of the Ocean City board. I mean, you could do 10 seconds a year for the last 20 years, right?
I mean, not at least 15. Yeah.
10 seconds a year for the last 15. You could do a minute a year for the last 15.
Yeah.
And 15 years in 15 minutes, the Ocean City store, just like pow, 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 pow.
Right.
But anyway, that's not a skill that I have. I am not collaborative enough to be a filmmaker.
Right.
I could be an already famous auteur where I scream and yell and order people around and they have to do what I say, otherwise I'll crush their careers. Yeah. Or I could not be in it. But I can't be like, hey, let's make a movie together.
Yeah. And it's funny. I don't know if it's laziness. We were watching a documentary about Martin Scorsese, right? You know, obviously legend and this sort of thing. And I was thinking about my own, you know, approach to making making movies, making videos. And it's just very like, I'm going to shoot what I shoot and I'm going to figure it out in post. So it's kind of run and gun style. One of the interesting things about Scorsese is like, even at an early age, I guess he had asthma and he would like watch all the kids play, and he would basically make, art boards, which would eventually become pre-production of movies. And like, we don't do any pre-production for the podcast, as evidenced by the start of this week's show. And, but I don't in other realms. And that's definitely something that I could probably, I could stand to, be a little bit more diligent about and have improvement. But as far as the collaboration, it's funny, like the big project that we have every year is the Christmas card for the Starbird. And it's usually, we call it a Christmas card. It's usually a movie spoof. This year we did Love Actually. I think we talked about this. But the way, like, so as opposed to just filming an event or, and just kind of documenting what's there, I have an idea in my head and I just kind of tell people to do things, kind of loosely, everybody has an idea of what we're doing, but it's in the moment, a lot more, look and feel. So a little pre-production, a little bit of more, trying to be a little bit more collaborative. And yeah, maybe I could actually, compete or produce something for a summer challenge or something like that.
You're more a Christopher Guest than Wes Anderson.
Yes. Fair. I'll take that.
Talk about this for 20 minutes. I'll pick the one I like the best.
Yeah.
And so I'm sorry. So that's the end of my commercial. I've had some great conversations with some really, really interesting people.
Yeah.
I didn't. I was speaking with one of the early organizers who told me, and it's always fun but also frustrating to forget that, unlike me, people don't go around narrating their lives in case anybody asks them about it, right? Like,
right.
I've spoken with Stephanie about that, and it's a thing that writers, I guess, do by habit, or maybe that's what makes us want to be writers. But like, all right, well, this is the story of me going to the bank. This is the story of me like every place I go, I'm like, okay, and then this happened and this happened and this happened. And you talk to people and they don't see their lives as stories. So you're like, tell me a story, and they're like, oh, well, I had a good time. And I'm like, yeah, but why? And I'm like, because it was fun, and so one detail that no one pointed out except for one person was that the first year people showed up like dressed, like in black, like for like a movie premiere kind of. Yeah. Not everybody, but a number of people. And she was telling me people had come down from New York all dressed up to see their to see the films. Oh, and that was the other story that I wanted to share because I thought it was really, really important. Especially if there are any filmmakers out there who are on the fence. One of the people was telling me about seeing his movie with people who weren't his friends and family.
Yeah.
Like, people came out to see his movie who he didn't know.
But he didn't. I'm like, why are these people here?
Right? And there's really something special about that. Like, they're not there because they owe him anything. They're not there because they don't want to have to tell him some lame excuse about why they weren't at his premiere or whatever. They came to his premiere because they wanted to see his movie, and they saw his movie, and it was just a special feeling. And I guess that is the special feeling that kind of validates the work. Like, the work is the work, but knowing that people will see it, it makes it easier than knowing that people won't see it, and so that's my pitch for both Destination Delmarva and the Ocean City Film Festival.
There you go. That's a good commercial. That's a good 20-minute commercial.
Yeah, right?
For both
Let's get to our 10-minute show.
I love it.
Well, and so, go ahead. You You're up.
I got out of town this past week and up close to the Poconos to see some high school friends and be in the woods. And it is interesting because I have to remind myself sometimes that I grew up going to the mountains. I didn't grow up at the beach, and here we have this podcast about life at the beach.
Right.
But one thing that I do appreciate when I see my friends who are significantly smarter than I am and have had have had great careers and we're all in our 50s now and starting to deal with ailing parents and that sort of thing and winding down and talking third act stuff. I know we've talked on the show about my third act and going back or getting into the industry with going to work with the boys at 410. But I don't have any regrets about the last 15 years. Is one of the nice things about talking to people that you've known for 30 years and them seeing and knowing the arc of your life and relationships and work and that sort of thing. And you go to the mountains, it's low key. We're basically eating, drinking, jump in the hot tub, go for a walk, take a nap, rinse and repeat for the weekend. And it's good, especially with the craziness in the world today to be able to get away and reflect on what's important. The joke, and this started as day drinking on Delmarva.
Right.
I've long said that the definition of a vacation is being able to have a beer at lunch. And for the past 15 years, I've been able to have a beer at lunch. So I've been on a 15-year vacation, and living retired. And I'm proud of the stuff that we've done. I often feel like there's more that I could have done. I could have entered the film festival 10 years ago, and that would be a fun anniversary to be looking back on. But I think getting away and talking to people and like people who value what you do because you do it, not because of the status that it has. It got me pretty hopeful for 2026, and so I'm trying to carry that forward.
You should have entered that. What was that Precious movie you made? With like you all gray and walking down rainy Berlin streets, like
yes,
Todd. That was fantastic.
It's funny because that came up. So that was a spoof, kind of moody commercial, and I was talking about taking myself more seriously, and I was going to start a film company, and it was going to be called David Todd Films, also known as DTF. So that's the punchline, and then there's like a cheesy. We had just gotten the van, and there's a cheesy's like, if you need something done quick, we're DTF. And get in the van. But and actually, okay. So I'm going to pitch this idea, and maybe you can.
I'm down for it. Let's go.
We can expand on this. Right? So we're all in our 50s, and somebody made the comment. Like, okay, I think the scenario was my buddy whose cabin we're at has one of the original iPods, right? Mm-hmm. So just plays music. It's as big as a brick and probably has only 8 gigs of memory.
Right. No, megabytes.
Megabyte. Yeah, right. Probably. And it is, and he has a little speaker that he got, and it still works, and it's still, so, but he can't plug it into a computer, so it hasn't had any new music put on it in, over a decade, probably maybe closer to 2. And And we were just talking about, he's like, what? There's no music? Or there's been no new music since, 2000. And his wife just kind of chuckled. He's like, look at us. That's the AARP in us. And I'm like, oh, the AAR penis. So I'm thinking Saturday Night Live style commercial, like sweaty balls, where the punchline is just repeated over and over again, and it's just talking about like 50-year-olds getting old, but still trying to I don't know, wear flat brim hats and have tattoos.
There's a Nate Bargatze joke that goes like that. He goes, I feel good. I'm young. I'm wearing this jacket.
I can pull this off.
I can pull this off, exactly. So yeah, no, I think that if you'd like to do an AAR penis, and that's the punchline of every slot. So it's a 30-second slot, and then it's a AAR penis. Yeah.
Maybe we could get that as a trending hashtag. And
yes.
And maybe this is the AARP in us, is the fact that we're still not above a dick joke, right?
Yeah, right. So my other story is sad, and I'm not going to tell it now because we're having a good time. I want to tell a different story, a different fun story. I didn't mention that the Ocean City Film Festival is March 5th and 6th. I should have done that. I've done that now. OceanCityFilmFestival.com for tickets, blah, 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 blah. We also have, I mentioned in the past to Todd, I don't know if I've talked about it on the show, that Brent Lewis does a Waterman event, and that is coming up on January 29th. He had said that he would be interested in coming on the show. I don't know if he forgot or if he's waiting for me to call him. I just found out yesterday, so I don't know what that is. But if you're listening, Brent, and you'd like to be on the show, we would love to have you. No, I'll talk about this story.
Anybody listening, if you have a story about Ocean City, Berlin, or living at the beach or day drinking, we'd love to have you on the show, right?
I called this lady today. I was on the phone with this woman today for 2 hours, and she was talking about in Hampton Roads, Virginia, they are developing over a graveyard as if they've never seen Poltergeist. And she's trying to stop them, and they won't stop. And it's like, it's a federal crime.
Yeah, right.
And well, that's what's really interesting. It's something that I didn't know, but I saw a video about it this week. There, like the railroads couldn't make cemeteries move. Like it's the federal government can't take a cemetery for eminent domain. It's like cemeteries are like off limits for everything, and it is just the weirdest thing to me because, I mean, anytime that a government official looks bad, I think an angel gets its wings, so I love that. Right. But, I'm not what you'd call a religious person, and it is bananas to me how, how spooked we are, how spooked we are by the afterlife. Yeah. And, we don't want to, I'm all for not desecrating cemeteries. That's not where I'm going.
You're not pro desecration.
But let me bring you a story from India where they are trying to go back to having more traditional Indian burials, which is putting people in shrouds and putting them on pyres and cremating them that way.
Okay.
The reason they've done away with that is because they were doing it on the river's edge, and sometimes the bodies didn't get all the way burned, and there would be half a charred person in the water, and but it's common, and it's their religion, and why do we think it's creepy that they want to have a public burning, but it's not creepy that we want to that we're afraid of cemeteries because there's spooks in them. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's
Yeah.
it's all the different kind of. I am starting this project on February 1st. I'm announcing it now because no one who writes a paycheck for me listens to this show. That's going to be my gig. I'm going to look more into the intersection of all of these like competing beliefs. I'm working on a big story about crematories and
Yeah.
whether they're polluting or not. And I think whether they're polluting or not is almost a side thing because no one with a Hummer is really worried about the environment.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But they're creeped out by having burning bodies anywhere with, like, if someone finds out that there's a crematory near their house, they freak out.
Yeah.
There's a crematory in Delmar. Doesn't bother me. Never did, even before I did this job. But there's this fight there's always a fight to keep a crematory from opening. And I'm wondering if the environmental argument really holds up. And so in my research, I discovered that there's like a special chemical, highly toxic chemical, apparently, that is only created when you burn human beings at 1600 degrees or something like that. And I want to find out if that's true before you don't repeat that to anybody until you check with me. One person said it at one meeting in Seattle.
Okay.
So I want to find an expert who's not in Seattle. I mean, maybe if they're in Seattle, but they can't be making a huge speech about why cremation is bad and then say this made up fact that no one's ever heard of before.
Right.
So that's what I'm on for this coming week. Looking forward to it. I feel good. Like you said, I feel like this is going to be this is like my 10th act. You know me. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't do the same thing for too long, but this is, I feel this feels different. This feels like, going back to freelancing on purpose rather than trying to freelance because I quit my job in a temper tantrum.
Right.
Is a different That's a different
feeling.
Oh, and I guess to finish off my commercial and to close off the show, if you need any writing done, I do memoirs, I do podcasts, I host and coordinate webinars, any of that, I do it. You can reach me at bytonyrusso.com. And that will do me for today. I got nothing else. How about you?
I got nothing.
All right. Well, until next time, remember, at the beach,
It's happy hour whenever you say it is.